Hey guys, welcome to the video. It's Delaney and you're with Death and Candy 27. Today we're going to be jumping into the Juvia'S Place I Am the Magic foundation. If you want to see me create this eye look, it will be coming up on my next video. This is featuring the Terra Moons Multi-Chromes that just got released. I hope you enjoy the video regarding the Juvia'S Place foundation, coming at you now with the application. Okay guys, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the quick mini tutorial of the first impression of the Juvia'S Place I Am the Magic foundation. So I picked up both the foundation and the concealer. When I was checking out, it was like when the launch had just started, and so the concealer page was having a little bit of issues, but I didn't realize when I was checking out that the lightest shade was going to be the highest number, and that's just like how I've been conditioned in society. Because of like the issues I was experiencing on the site, and then also like just my stupidity, I accidentally ordered the deepest shade. I won't be using that on my face today. I am going to give it to my friend Chip because she can use that to deepen up any foundations that she has, concealers that she has, whatever she would like to use that for, instead of having to go through the process of like sending a $14 concealer back to Juvia'S. So I got the second order of the concealer and I just got it in today. So I wanted to shoot like a first impressions of the concealer. I've already used the foundation a couple of times, but I haven't really worn it a whole lot because I wanted to save like my final like kind of thoughts on camera for you guys. So this is how the boxes come. So the larger one is the foundation and the smaller is the concealer. They are cruelty-free. With the Juvia'S Place foundation, this is a velvety matte finish. From what I've seen so far, it's definitely a lot more dewy than I would normally go for a matte foundation. I normally am going very dry, like the Morphe Fluidity foundation, the Urban Decay All Nighter, things of that nature. So I am interested to try more of a dewy velvety finish versus just a super dry matte, just because summer's coming and I'm already going to be sweating my ass off anyway. So I picked up the shade 710, which is MARICAO. That's how I'm gonna say it the whole time. Opening that up for you guys who probably have already seen this be opened, but it comes in the same kind of color tubing. Now there is one drawback to this, is you cannot see the shade inside, so you can only see the outside of the tube, which kind of gives me like shampoo conditioner vibes, and I don't know if I like that with my foundation. I like how the Morphe Fluidity is. In most parts, you can see like at least a strip of what the foundation color is. So if you use multiple shades of foundation, which a lot of people who are more experienced in makeup do, you're gonna have a hard time distinguishing the two. So you may wanna just take a little label maker or a sticker or something and put it like on the top of the tube. That would just be a suggestion. Opening up the concealer, now I haven't opened it yet, but this is in the shade 24, which I believe is the lightest of the light. This is how it looks. So you can't see the concealer, which I was like, why can I not see this, but I can see this? So maybe they think that people are more into using different tones of concealer, or, you know, for like contour and stuff. So they're like, well, we'll do a window for this, but not necessarily the foundation, which okay. And if I didn't already say so, the foundation retails for $20. So if you want the two, you can get it for $34, which I think is very affordable considering most foundations just in general for a whole fluid ounce are $34 plus. So I really like that. I think they kept it very on brand with their pricing, just because most of the time, you know, Juvia'S Place is always running a sale. And just in general, I feel like their palettes and other products are very affordable considering how big of a pan size you get. So for the foundation shade that I got, it is for fair skin with neutral peachy undertones. So as you can kind of see from my face, I do have a lot of red areas, so that's why I went ahead and picked up this one. I normally try to match my foundation to the overall color of my skin tone versus my concealer. Sometimes I'm swayed to go more neutral, but sometimes I do pick up the pink, which I believe the Jeffree Star C2 is for pink undertones, not peach, pink. And then let's see what concealer I got, because I forget what the undertone is. So for J24, which is the shade that I got, it is for fair skin with neutral cool undertone. So this one I chose to try a cool undertone to see how that reflects with doing a peachy tone, just because I feel that that kind of cancels it out more. Don't at me on how color theory works because I don't give a fuck, okay? I just try to match what my skin tone is and what I'm feeling, what I'm buying. If I don't like it, obviously I can just hop right over to Ulta and get another shade, or order online and mix this in with something else that may be like too warm, like my Urban Decay All Nighter 2.0 shade is a little warm for what I have been wearing and what I'm used to now because I barely go outside. So this is the most light that I get, to be honest. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it as you've been staring at my face for so long now. Yeah, we're just gonna tuck it back. For the tube, it is a little gloopy. I'm not gonna put it on the back of my hand because I don't like doing that with my foundation because it just sinks into my skin. So I'm just gonna use like the lid of my foundation here. I have found that when I'm using this foundation, I'm having to use a little bit more than what I would normally use with pumps because this is a squeeze tube essentially. So like a lot comes out, but also I feel because it's so thick, I have to really use a little bit more. But that's what kind of shade we're working with here. It is a little washed out in the lights, but you can definitely see that it kind of has that like peachy undertone. And, you know, it's obviously fair. I like how it kind of came out like a pretzel. So I'm just going to dip in with my Morphe sponge. I do have an e.l.f. sponge that I normally am going to for foundation, but I found that the Morphe sponge is a little bit denser, and so it kind of works with this product a little bit better. So if you can just look at that. It's very full coverage. Now, from when I've been using it, I haven't felt like it's the most full coverage as far as like color correcting or covering up blemishes. My first impression, I was like, ew, like I can still see everything that's underneath here. Most people have been buying the brush that comes with the foundation release, and I have not used a brush for foundation for like over a year now, so I'm just gonna apply with the sponge. I had picked up a whole lot, but as you can see, it covered like 2/3 of my face. So it's looking a lot better full coverage on camera, but like in real life, I can still see a little bit of a redness peeking through, a little bit of texture. So I'm hopefully when I get to the concealer, we won't have that problem and I can conceal everything. In comparison, that's about how much I used already. So just like one big dab there. You can see like it dries down relatively quickly for how dry it does get. I wouldn't say that it dries down a lot because obviously it's a velvet matte finish. But I feel that between using a different primer, testing out different primers with this underneath has helped. I have on today the e.l.f. Hydrating Booster Drops, which is my normal go-to. I don't really use like a standard primer. I normally am just going to a moisturizer now because my skin is mostly dry, and then I just have oils in my normal areas, so like T-zone. My mouth will crease up a lot around my smile lines and stuff like that because I'm old as balls. Okay, so that's essentially the face covered. Looking up close, I'm seeing, you know, my texture, of course, but it's not as like overbearing as it is in its natural state without any, you know, coverage. I'm gonna try to get up close so you guys can see. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with there. Hopefully this concealer can cover up these sad bags I have. Jesus Christ. It's applying a lot better right now. Maybe I was mistaken before. But if you don't like how like clunky it is, you could always thin it up with something else that's a little bit thinner. I was debating on possibly mixing the Maybelline Super Stay foundation because it's very liquidy and it has a similar finish, so I may try to do that just to prolong this a little bit because I feel like I have to pour so much out and I don't get all of that back. It just kind of goes into my sponge. The sponge I used I had just cleaned, so all of that product is essentially sweeping into there. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into concealer now. Eesh. It's like opening a pickle jar. What the fuck? I kind of like how thick it is. I have been using mostly like the Jeffree Star C2 concealer, you know, has a big magic wand tip. Sometimes I like pick it up by just the star. I'm like, I can't wait for this to fall off because I've seen that happen just because, you know, just that's not where you're meant to grab it. Obviously it has a huge doe foot applicator, just like Shape Tape and, you know, your normal concealers these days. I hate like getting that first top part like dirty. We're gonna be focusing this under the eyes. Oh, that's wet. The forehead, the nose bridge, the chin, you know, all the parts I want to bring forward in my face. That is really liquidy. Like it has a faint smell, but it's not like off-putting. The Morphe Fluidity definitely has a very intense paint smell, like definitely the foundation, not so much the concealer. I'm getting like a faint smell from the foundation, but not as much as the concealer. It's probably because I've opened this for the first time. So let me get this blended in before it dries onto my fucking face. And I'm just using the Beauty Blender Blot Rousey to blend that out. So this is definitely the shade for me. I definitely didn't pick the wrong shade. That concealer really goes a long way. So I really like how that's blending that out. I can definitely see all of my creasing under my eyes, but the actual tone is not bad. I really brightened up my face. That shade would be great if you accidentally get a shade that's too light, or if you're going in between seasons. So if you're like a medium coverage and in the summer you pick your right shade, and then for fall and winter you just kind of get that and you can just mix it in there, or take 2 different foundations, whatever you want to do. That would be my suggestion, to be honest. I'm going to go ahead and do like the rest of my face and show how it's kind of drying out onto the skin, and then that will be the end of this video, and then I will still be doing another look wearing the same foundation, but I'm going to be testing out the Terra Moon Cosmetics Multi-Chromes that I just got in. I'm so excited. Let's go ahead and finish up this face before I get too crazy. We're gonna jump into normal cream contour. You guys saw this, same essential face, just slightly different products when I did my Get Ready With Me, Get to Know Me. So I'm taking the Fenty Beauty Matchstick in the shade Amber. I feel like this foundation really helps you blend any cream contour that you're using. Very easy because of the finish versus a matte. You have to work really quickly if you want to blend anything in. I feel so wet. The center of my face, I can just see like how moisturizing it's looking. Gonna go in with just my Fenty linen and just clean up any spots that I may see like underneath my contour, problem areas. But for the most part, like if you have texture on your skin under this and you get a good enough layer, for me, I'm not really seeing it. Going out in natural lighting, it's nighttime here right now, so I won't get to show you guys like a wear test or anything, but I have been posting on my Instagram about this foundation, and so I can definitely do like a check-in that day or something, maybe this weekend. So when I had first started trying out this foundation, I didn't set anything other than where I put concealer, so chin, nose, under eyes, forehead. Today we're going to do a little powder everywhere. I'm gonna use just a little puff from Laura Mercier, and I'm using the Maybelline Master Fix Studio Setting and Perfecting Loose Powder. It's translucent, so it's very white, but I think with this concealer, I'll be fine. I'm just gonna gently press that into the under eye so I can avoid some creasing. I didn't want to use my Jeffree Star because it's the rose shade, so it does have pink in it, and I didn't want to like essentially cancel out the tone that I had in the concealer with Juvia'S. I wanted it to be relatively on par with what it is. And this is the Morphe E49, and we're just going to like lightly pat everywhere else. And we're just gonna do a quick bake. On to powder. So this is the Cover FX Perfector Face Palette. This is in the light medium range. It has a nice big mirror in there, just like the ColourPop stuff, but it essentially, you can't pull it all the way back, which is annoying. It comes with a bronzing shade, a highlight shade, finishing shade, 2 highlights, a blush, and I'll be applying the contour with the Morphe M436. So convenient to have such a small face palette that has not only a contour but a blush and highlights if I really want them. Then I'll be jumping into the blush, which is the contour shade with Silhouette, and the blush is Sublime. So we're gonna go in with my liquid highlight now. I'll be using the incredible You Glow Girl Cosmic Blur highlighter. It's a duochrome. I don't know if you'll be able to really pick it up on camera, but it essentially has like a blue purpley reflect in it. Just your standard, but it is like the best texture. It's kind of like a lip gloss. I think I talked about this in a prior video, to be honest. It's not like sticky like a lip gloss, obviously, but the same kind of like liquidy texture. And I'm just gonna apply that to the highlights of the cheek. It's just a really nice reflect that when you move your face, you can see the shift. So if you don't wear like a lot of heavy face products, this would be a great thing for you because it's clear essentially, and it just dries down really beautifully. And then since we're going to be using Terra Moons later on the other half of this video, I am going to use a shade from their Astrology palette to do highlights. And we're going to pick up the shade The Moon, which is this like silvery highlight shade right here. It's not necessarily meant to be a highlighter, but you can't tell me what to do. Oh yes, bitch. Brows, and then we'll essentially be done with this face and we'll be moving on to the next video. I'm coming this to a close. Just gonna go in with the Brow Gal little gel brow tint. And this is in the shade Brown Hair 02. And then we'll be going in with the ABH Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Taupe. Y'all tell me down in the comments what your favorite foundation is. What is your holy grail? I used, like I mentioned before, the Urban Decay All Nighter for a very, very long time. I think I'm on my 5th bottle now, but I had like stocked up last time because there was like a sale or something and I bought 2. And then right after that I like literally switched to something else. So I'm dumb, but y'all tell me what your faves are. So I'm just gonna go in with my little brow highlight. I'm gonna dip into that same shade from the Astrology palette with just a small little brush from Morphe, the M562. This is a very pigmented shade, like just about all their shit, to be honest. If y'all haven't heard about Terra Moons, you need to go check them out ASAP. This was a collab palette that they did with Amanda Organa, and it's just everything. All the swatches are all over their Instagram. If you want to see, you're just gonna have to scroll way down, but it's all there. So let's just take a final look over everything. I feel like I'm shining for the gods, but if I have any texture on my face, it's definitely accentuated. It looks great on camera for you guys, but I can really see it, and especially like when I swept away from under my eyes, it picked up some of the product the harder that I pressed. So just something to look out for. If you do need to touch this up, you'll probably want to lightly blot and maybe bring like the concealer with you or the foundation, or just not expect this to last very long, because typically with more velvety matte finishes or with dewy products, you are going to see it break up throughout the day because it's just super moisturizing. It doesn't hold back your oils. So, and of course, if you use different primers, that will change how foundation applies and holds out throughout the day. But I'm not hating it so much. We're just going to go ahead and do some close-ups for you guys real quick before we sign off, just so you can see how everything's looking even closer than this. So come right at you now. This is the end of the video. It's kind of weird not finishing out with a full face, but if you do want to see the look, I will be putting that into my intro of this video, so you will get to see it and it'll be like a sneak peek. Please follow me on my social medias. It's all Death and Candy 27. I'm going to try to upload at least every Saturday and maintain my activeness throughout the week on my Instagram, so if you want to reach me there, that would be the best place to follow me. As of right now, I won't be super active on YouTube because I am just starting out and I still am running my other channel with Chip. But I would love it if you subscribe before you left, ring the bell so you are notified if you happen to forget what days I upload. But thank you guys so much for watching this video and sticking with me through just this base face look. And I hope you have a great week. Bye!